Hey everybody, Iron Leprechaun coming at you. Now, we have made it to February. I didn't do as many videos as I wanted to on the step 1 of the 12-step recovery process. I may refer to some of those as I get to be doing more videos this month. So, just a lot of extra things happening in my life. I haven't been able to do these as often as I'd like, but I plan on fixing that. So, again, Iron Leprechaun, welcome to the talk we usually have. It has to do with applying the 12 steps of recovery of addicts of any kind to real-world solutions, real-world problems, and then solutions. I try to cater this to everybody. If you've watched the videos, or if you're watching this one, you like what you hear, remember to like, share, subscribe, click the bell icon so you can get the alerts when these come out. I do a fairly good job of posting it on the other social medias, Instagram at Iron Leprechaun, or on my Facebook page. So if you get them there, right on. I don't have a hyperlink yet, so you have to figure that out. But best way to do it, click the bell icon. You'll get the update. So it's February. That's the second month of the year. We are now focusing on the second step of a 12-step recovery program. So the first one was we admitted we were powerless over our addiction, whatever that is, and that our life has become unmanageable. We talked about powerlessness. We talked about unmanageability. Both things hard to swallow, okay? It sucks. We may have looked at these things. Now, if you say you're in AA or Narcotics Anonymous or whatever, the word used in there is, in Alcoholics Anonymous, it's used, we are powerless over alcohol and our lives have become unmanageable. In Narcotics Anonymous, we've become powerless over our addiction and our lives have become manageable. So whatever, fill in the blank, whatever works for you, okay? What do we do about it from there? I'm here to tell you that the rest of this doesn't have much to do with that. And by that, I mean your vice of choice, whatever is plaguing you, okay? Well, the first step is we admit that we are powerless over whatever this is, and because of it, our life is unmanageable, okay? Not necessarily because of it, as I've alluded to in other videos, but it is the aha moment, the light bulb, the damage and repercussions of said addiction has now manifested into a place where I step back and I'm like, okay, this is beyond me. Okay, that can sound hopeless. This is beyond me. Especially if you were like me and I did everything I could, and I still do at times. I am not rid of my, my habits of over the last 40 some odd years. So, I still struggle with this, but I still try to power through things. I do. I try, and there's a, I've done the short reels about this, but it's hard for me to find that line. The line of, acting appropriately, doing what I need to do to attain the things I need to attain or get the goals or what have you, do my part in making my life better. And how much do I have to let go? And for the sake of argument, I use the word God. Okay. If that doesn't line up with your beliefs, okay. But we're going to get into this. And this, unfortunately, is what keeps a lot of people out of 12-step recovery because they have a history of religious issues, or they blamed God for their problems, or they may be atheist or agnostic, and we'll talk about that stuff later too. I'm here to tell you, you don't have to go to church to get this thing. You don't have to claim to be a Christian to better yourself and get yourself out of this rut. You do not. I attend meetings where there's a guy he's atheist and he gets it. So I want to use that to preface moving into step 2, because step 2 is we came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. Okay, if that doesn't grab you and say, hey, that sounds interesting. That sounds like something I want. Forget this higher power shit. The sanity part. Because at this point, if you aren't in a place of recognition that your life is plagued with insane thoughts and decisions by yourself, you need to go back to step 1. You haven't admitted that your life is powerless and unmanageable. You haven't. Okay? Go back to that. Try and get right with that if you want to move forward with this. So, I had to concede to my innermost self that I was behaving insanely when I first came across this step. Now, I came in fresh out of getting clean and sober, so the first time I looked at it, it wasn't that big a deal. I had very recent history behind me. I could look at the trail of wreckage behind me and say, "Oh, yep." I could within the last few months of cleaning myself up of drugs and alcohol, I knew it was very apparent. I was still dealing with the drug out repercussions of some of these decisions, that I was making insane choices. I was making horrible choices, and it wasn't just the last few months. I look back, and this is throughout my life. Okay, and so. Insanity. Okay, what's sanity is soundness of mind. Okay, that means we are making correct choices and correct decisions based on logic, emotion, and I imply spiritual principles as well. So we take into account all things, make the best decision. Okay, not always the best decision, but we learn from it and make better decisions. I was not. I was just going. I was on autopilot, just rolling through life, rolling past things that I should be taking advantage of, rolling over people that I cared about, rolling over people I didn't care about. It didn't matter. I was just going. Loose cannon. And that's like getting in a canoe without a paddle. You're just floating down the river, wherever the river's going to take you. Now, I don't know about you, but in my life, now I have some trust in a higher power, but I like to have some control over what I'm doing. Problem is when things don't seem to be working out and I keep beating against that wall trying to make it happen, I ain't working with the flow of life, okay? And this is where the higher power stuff comes in, okay? Came to believe that a power greater than myself could restore me to sanity. Here's the kick in the pants that a lot of people don't want to deal with, don't want to accept. A power greater than me that I can't see, I can't touch, I can't smell, I can't taste, I don't know it's there. I don't know it's there. Now, if you have a predisposed idea of a religion that has a higher power, then okay, you may not be in that boat. That wasn't me. I had a very hard time not letting go and relying on a power that I could not quantify, that I couldn't understand, that I couldn't even imagine. And part of that was because despite my shortcomings and all the negative stuff that happened in my life, I was able to still get through life fairly decently. Most of my drinking and drugging career, I had a job. I had money. I had a home. There were times where that wasn't the case. But, I mean, I was able to make it through. So it was really hard for me to not see myself as somebody who could make it happen and then rely on something that I had no clue about. But I'm here to tell you, I didn't make the sun, the stars, the trees, me. I didn't make me, okay? This is, and I know about birth and pregnancy. I'm in the medical field, guys. I get it. So I'm just saying, there's something bigger than me. There's something at work. No matter what it is, no matter how you want to identify it as, there's something. Some people go with the Big Bang Theory. Okay, guess what? Big Bang. That's bigger than you. That's more powerful than you. Look what it did. Okay? So I don't care what your preferences of a higher power is. But the fact is, and I had to get there, and I was lucky to get there so early because it catapulted my recovery forward, and I was able to better myself fairly quickly because of it. For sake of argument, I use the word God, remember? If that rubs you the wrong way, sorry. Not really. There is a God, and it ain't me. Once I get there, that's the first part. Then I have to get to a place where I have to trust that this God will restore me to sanity. Now, if you were like me, I've tried anything and everything. I've tried managing my drinking and drugging use like only to the weekends or every other Friday or, not after 10 p.m. Right. Switching booze to beer. I mean, all these things, swearing off it, all these things, the book talks about it too, but I mean, all these things. And no matter what I did, I kept finding myself not only using drugs and alcohol, but making those piss poor decisions, whether I was drinking and drugging or not. I mean, I still make them, but that's the point I'm trying to get at, where this applies to anybody, okay? I was just horrible at making proper life choices. I didn't get that, okay? So me at my best and me at my worst and everywhere in between and all the other things I've sought out, books, helpers, whatever. Guess what? They didn't work. So I have to trust in something bigger than me that is going to fix this for me. Hard pill to swallow. It's a huge pill to swallow. But I'm here to tell you, if you're struggling with that, I understand. But if you can get past it, everything in your life afterwards will get better. You know, in the meetings they talk about, well, I can't promise you it'll get better, but it gets different. Bullshit. Bullshit. If anybody applies rigorous honesty to this 12-step program, no matter what their addiction is, whatever plagues them, whatever's going on, and you do this thing to the best of your ability, life will get better. I have never seen anybody do this thing honestly and not improve their life, at least a little bit. Okay? So, it is essential. This video is getting longer than I'd like. I'm going to wrap it up, but we're going to be talking about this one a lot, and I'm going to tell you why. If you made it this far, this is the kicker. This step was my issue. This was my biggest issue. I knew I was an alcoholic and a drug addict. I knew my life was unmanageable. I was powerless over them drugs. But allowing something else to restore me to sanity, I wanted it, but I didn't trust it. We're going to dive deep into this one because this is a big one for me. Like, share, subscribe, click the bell icon, comment. Let's chat about this stuff. Tell me about your experience. If you have any questions, hit me up, and I will see you next time.